Breaking news first here on the WHAS11 night team from the nation's capital. Kentucky's Mitch McConnell votes against a key pick for Donald Trump's cabinet. It's our top story. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. Just into the newsroom, the U.S. Senate has narrowly confirmed President Donald Trump's choice for Secretary of Defense. That means Pete Hegseth does get the job. Vice President J.D. Vance made the tie-breaking vote confirming Hegseth to the position. Hegseth's nomination was met with objections from some Republicans as well as many senior Democrats due to his lack of experience and questions about his character. Ultimately, 3 Republicans voted against the former Fox and Friends TV host, including Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. McConnell cast a surprise vote, saying in a statement he did not have confidence in Hegseth's ability to lead the Pentagon, calling it, quote, a daily test with staggering consequences. Mitch McConnell saying in part, Mr. Hegseth has failed as yet to demonstrate that he will pass this test, but as he assumes the office, the consequences of failure are as high as they have ever been. That is from Mitch McConnell tonight. And now new on the night team. The man who opened fire on then candidate for mayor Craig Greenberg here in Louisville will be in his 40s when he gets out of federal prison. Quintez Brown gets 17 and a half years from a federal judge late today. The mayor in court today said he still worries that Brown could try to kill him again when he gets out. WHAS11's Ian Hartwitt reports on the sentencing and those who called it the wrong move.
Yeah, victims that were barricaded in the back of the room.
6 shots filled a Butchertown campaign office on February 14th, 2022. Quintez Brown emptied the clip of a gun he bought the very same morning from a downtown pawn shop, and now he'll spend 17 and a half years in federal prison. While campaigning for mayor, 4 staffers survived the shooting alongside Craig Greenberg. One of those bullets grazing Greenberg's sweater that morning shows how close he came to being shot. Speaking inside the federal courthouse, the mayor said, "I don't know how I miraculously survived." 6 gunshots fired directly at me from close range by a person I did not recognize. A person who, I later learned, was in front of my house the night before and only left because his gun jammed. Brown pled guilty to the crime last summer, but only for disrupting the political process and shooting the gun. He wasn't convicted of attempted murder. However, Mayor Greenberg said, others may try to minimize, explain, or justify these actions, but the facts are clear. This was a serious and planned attempt to kill me. Brown's lawyer, Rob Eggert, insisted it was never Brown's intention to kill the candidate.
Quintez Brown is the only guy in this county ever to have gotten 210 months for grazing a sweater.
Quintez Brown apologized to the victims and said, "When I shot that gun, I taught everyone the wrong lesson." But even without physical injury, the 5 survivors still live with fear. Emily Morley, the campaign finance manager, left politics and moved homes. She's afraid of the day Brown is released. In the courtroom, she said, "I lost parts of who I am. My diagnosed PTSD keeps me from doing many of the things I love doing. No sentence of any length would ever undo the fear and pain that plague my daily life." Dr. Ricky Jones, one of Brown's mentors, saw the young man's mental decline.
Nobody cared about getting to know Quintez Brown as a human being, and they didn't care about his future. They want to toss him on the scrap heap of humanity. And while I love the mayor, love him to death, we had a chance at serious compassion and care at this moment for that child, and none was given.
But in the end, the man targeted in this is Louisville's sitting mayor, who said, 3 years later, I think about the assassination attempt on me every day. When I eat at home with my back to windows. When I check that my doors are locked every night. When I hear unexpected loud noises. And so many other random times and random places. The heavy impact remains on me and my family. Reporting in Louisville, Ian Hartwitt for the WHAS11 night team, on your side.
And a footnote here, Brown is still awaiting his sentencing on state charges. Judge Benjamin Beaton, the federal judge today, ruled that Brown would be able to serve both sentences, federal and state, at the very same time. By the way, you can read Mayor Craig Greenberg's full impact statement by going to this story. You'll find it posted on WHAS11.com. Also new today, the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office has dismissed the murder charges against the two men arrested for the murder of Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Shirley in Shively. The 26-year-old deputy was shot and killed while working an off-duty security job at Rockford Lane Auto Sales in Shively in August of 2021. 5 months later, Jesse Johnson and Marquise Mitchell were arrested and charged with murder. Now the prosecutor's office has dropped the case, citing a lack of evidence and new information that has now come to light. A statement from the Commonwealth's attorney reads in part, "Should new evidence against the indicted defendants arise, we will vigorously pursue prosecution again. We will also zealously work toward a conviction for anyone else found to be criminally involved in the killing of Deputy Brandon Shirley." More of our top stories here on the night team. A man is dead after a shooting that happened in Buchel. Metro Police say they responded to the shooting at 5:30 tonight on Bardstown Road near Figgenbush Lane. When officers got there, they found a man with gunshot wounds inside a car. The man was taken to the hospital where he died a short time later. Anyone who can help detectives is urged to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. And here tonight, we in fact just learned moments ago from Metro Police that a man died tonight after a 3-car crash late this afternoon near Waterfront Park and the Botanical Gardens. Police say at about 4:30 this afternoon, the crash happened on River Road at Frankfort Avenue. Police say a man was traveling on River Road when he lost control and hit the back of a commercial vehicle, forcing it onto oncoming traffic where it hit another car. The man was taken to the hospital where we learned moments ago that he died. The driver of the other car was also taken to the hospital, but she is expected to survive. The driver of the commercial vehicle was not hurt in this crash. Well, police in Jeffersonville tonight have arrested. We'll get to that story here in just a moment here. We want to come to that. Okay, now we want to tell you about police in Jeffersonville tonight say they have arrested the world's dumbest criminal. No, not their words and not our words, but the words of the criminal himself, according to police. Jeffersonville police say 38-year-old John Towns robbed the same Dollar General store on Allison Lane twice within 4 hours, all today between 1:30 and 5:30 tonight. And they say he reached across the counter and stole cash. Jeffersonville police say they asked him about returning to the very same Dollar General twice. He said he was, quote, the world's dumbest criminal, end quote. Now, we have an update tonight to a focus team investigation that we first reported 1 week ago. We learned that Wayside Christian Mission, the city's largest homeless shelter, had been operating its East Jefferson Street location without a license for 16 months. That has now changed. The license was approved yesterday and is active through September. In our initial report, Wayside leader Nina Mosley told us they did not have an active license because during the previous year's inspection, an employee showed the inspector the wrong space and the license was denied. But again, as of tonight, Wayside is licensed to operate. As President Donald Trump moves to enforce his mass deportation plan, he signed an executive order allowing ICE to make arrests in churches, courthouses, and schools now. Now, school districts across Kentuckiana are starting to educate staff members for the possibility of immigration officials coming onto their campuses. New Albany Floyd County Schools Administration says they've been talking with their legal team for guidance on handling any future scenarios. The superintendent says, regardless, they must follow the law. But if government officials walk onto a campus, the staff is instructed to take them to the front office, document their information, and bring any warrants with them.
We want to take a common sense approach. We look out for kids, we look out for those students, and regardless of what their status is, they have a right to come to our schools, and we want to make sure that they feel protected there and they feel like it's safe there for them to go to school.
New Albany Floyd County Schools will also notify a child's parent if the parent happens to be detained but not the student. The school's administration will assess the child's living situation and may have to contact the Department of Child Services. In Louisville, JCPS is advising staff of similar approaches. They also instruct them to call district police to be a part of the conversation. Also new tonight as we head into the weekend, JCPS is asking for your input as it looks to hire a brand new superintendent. Marty Polio announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of this school year. A special search committee has already been meeting to talk about potential candidates and the qualities they want for a new leader. And now they're asking for your input, posting a survey to social media. If you would like to take that survey, we've got a link to it right on our website at WHAS11.com. All new right now here on the WHAS 11 night team. Surrounded by some of the early trailblazers and legends of horse racing, Louisville paid tribute tonight at the Kentucky Derby Museum. The visitation was held there for Shirley May Beard, the force of nature behind Shirley May's Cafe, the restaurant in Smoketown. Shirley May also worked hard to bring to life the history of black jockeys. WHAS 11 night team's Clarice Shirley and photojournalist Aspen Hester learned about her legacy.
I'm happy to see this.
Proud Smoketown neighbor, known to everyone as Shirley May Beard.
Her spirit, her smile, she just was a good person, had a good heart.
Just a great person, and she'd be missed.
Was so much more to the community she served.
So when you met her, you never forgot her.
She was a mother to the community.
Leaving an irreplaceable mark.
Because her motivation was love.
The cafe and juke joint at the corners of Clay and Lambton Streets. The hub for giving for nearly 40 years.
You know, every Halloween we would all pitch in candy, and you know, all the regulars would bring candy, and she would set up out front of her business and give away candy to the kids.
Martin Luther King Day, she went out her way to feed the community. Anybody who wanted a plate was more than welcome.
Attracting all walks of life, including Whoopi Goldberg and recently Bruno Mars, to share a meal with Miss Shirley May, who died on January 11th at the age of 84. Her visitation was held at the Derby Museum because of her work to honor black jockeys.
Their passion to take not just the history, but the legacies and the love of black jockeys outside of the track and into the community is absolutely to be commended.
In her death, a piece of her is in every heart she touched.
To see what love can manifest, you know, if you embrace it. I think that, you know, what the world needs now is that.
Shirley May Beard, honored for her legacy to remember racing's best, and honored for her legendary restaurant, which brought all of Louisville together over her recipes. In Louisville, Clarice Shirley, WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
And we can say amen to that. Well, federal funeral services are set for tomorrow at noon at the Community Baptist Church that's on East Indian Trail Road. For now, the family plans to continue Shirley May's Cafe in Smoketown.